Okay, so just a continuation of our lesson from earlier today. We have to simplify complex fractions. Now before we do that, and I'm sorry, a complex fraction is just a fraction inside of another fraction. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of use a couple different colors here just as a kind of a reference. We have 3 over x plus 4. I'm just going to rewrite in blue. And then the denominator of this big fraction is going to be 4 over x plus 4. So you can see that we have two fractions within another fraction. And I'm just going to make the big fraction bar purple. Now remember, we've kind of done this concept before where you have a fraction, and this is kind of like divide right here, and we're dividing by a fraction. So we want to change this into a multiply problem. Now the way we do this is as such. What I like to do is I like to multiply the bottom by the reciprocal of 4 over x plus 4. So I'm going to multiply this by x plus 4 over 4. But if I do that in the bottom here, I also have to do it up here in the top. So x plus 4 over 4. Now what happens here is the x plus 4's reduce, the 4's reduce, and so what we're left with then is just 3 over x plus 4. And then this is a times problem now, x plus 4 over 4. And so what we have left over, once things reduce, which is here and here, we're left over with 3 over 4. Okay? So division went to a multiply. We're multiplying by the reciprocal right there of the 4 over x plus 4, which is x plus 4 over 4. Again, I do that to no matter what my bottom is. So for example, we'll do another one here and we'll just write it down. Suppose I had, let's just say 2 over x. Then we're going to divide that by, and it'll be 4 over x. Well, we want to get rid of this fraction in the denominator, so I multiply by its reciprocal in the bottom, x over 4. But if I do that in the bottom, we got to do it in the top as well, x over 4. So gone, 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 gone. And then what we're left with is 2x over 4x. And then the x is reduced, and 2/4 is 1/2. All right, now, complex fractions, you know, sometimes we have some addition or subtraction to do. So what I recommend us do is you're going to be dealing with the tops first and the bottoms second, okay? So do everything there is to do in the top first. So we'll go equals, 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 and here we go. So in the top, I have x over 3 minus 4. Now, we need common denominators here. So recall what we're doing is we're looking at a denominator. This has a denominator of 3. And so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the 4 by a 3 over a 3. So what that'll be left with is x over 3 minus 4 times 3 is 12 over 3. Now that we have the same denominators, we can subtract, which will be x minus 12 all over 3. Now that we have one fraction in the numerator, I know I'm done with that. So I don't need to do anything over here. Now we're going to go to the denominator. And in the denominator, what I see is a 5 plus 1 over x. Now the common denominator of this here is going to be x. This denominator has an x, this does not, so I need to multiply by x over x. So I'll have 5x over x, that came from right here, plus 1 over x. Now that we have the same denominators, we can combine them. 5x plus 1. And so now that I have one fraction in the denominator, I know I'm done. Well, we don't like fractions and fractions, so we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator in the top and the bottom. Remember, what you do in the bottom, you have to do in the top. So this and that cancel, this and that cancel. We're left with x minus 12 over 3 times x over 5x plus 1. I'm looking for any fractions that would reduce, or excuse me, any expressions that would reduce. Nothing is the same. And so when I write my answer, I just put it all together. This x is going to be written in front. Then we're going to have x minus 12. The 3 gets written in front. And then we have 5x plus 1. And we're done. Okay, next we have x over 3 minus 6 all over 10 over plus 4 over x. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Hit pause, do this one on your own, and then come back, see if you get it. So remember that, I'm going to write this in red here. We need a common denominator. The common denominator, we have a 3 here, there's nothing there, so the 6 needs a denominator of 3. So we're going to multiply by 3 over 3. And so we're going to have x over 3, then minus 6 times 3 is 18 over 3. Now that we have a common denominator, I'll write that common denominator once, and then in the numerator, x minus 18. In the denominator, we have 10 plus 4 over x. In this case, our common denominator is an x. The 10 needs an x, so we put it over x, and we put an x on the top as well. And so what we're left with now is 10x over x plus 4 over x. Now that we have the same denominator, we write it once, and we have 10x plus 4. Now what we need to do is we need to get the fractions out of the other fractions. Multiply by the reciprocal. What that allows us to do is cross out the x's, cross out the 10x plus 4's, and now we're ready to put it all together. X times x minus 18. That came from the top here, and then 3 times 10x plus 4. And we're done. Last one we have to do is 5 over x plus 4 all over 1 over x plus 4 plus 2 over x. You'll notice that in the numerator, we only have one fraction there. It's not like a sum of fractions or a difference of fractions. So there's nothing to do up top, which is good for us. The only thing we have to do is down here in the bottom. Now recall, you need the same denominators, okay? X plus 4 is a card, x is a card. So what this one is missing, it's not missing plus 4, it's missing this whole piece, x plus 4. So I'm going to write x plus 4 over here in the bottom and in the top. And then here we're missing the x. So I'm going to put these in parentheses and go x there and x up with the 1. Now I'm going to rewrite. X times 1 is x plus, because it's a plus, 2 times x plus 4. And that's going to be over x times x plus 4. Still simplifying here, you want to distribute your 2. And so that's going to be x. 2 times x is plus 2x. 2 times 4 plus 8. Then still we have an x and an x plus 1. Now combine your like terms. X plus 2x. Make 3x plus 8 all over x times x plus 4. And remember, we didn't have anything to do in the top because it was just one fraction up there. And so that's just going to get rewritten. And for short, I'm just going to draw the arrow, and I'm just going to rewrite it right over here. 5 over x plus 4. Now that we have one fraction in the top, one fraction in the bottom, it's time to multiply by the reciprocal. So we multiply by x times x plus 4 over 3x plus 8. But if I do it in the bottom, I need to do it in the top. 3x plus 8. What that allows me to do, x plus 4 and x plus 4 are gone. X and x are gone. 3x plus 8, 3x plus 8 are gone. Also notice that in the top we have an x plus 4 here and an x plus 4 on the bottom. Cross those two out as well. And so when you put everything together, you have 5 times x over, there's nothing over here left over, so all we have is 3x plus 8. And you're done.